It's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. Zooming in on the concept of how to handle really ongoing covert narcissist relationships. A lot of people find themselves in the midst of a relationship with a covert narcissist. Someone who is vastly aloof, someone who is rather insensitive to their needs, someone who observes the relationship with judgment more than participates, someone who really submerges themselves more in observation and judgment rather than really being outwardly communicative and rather accommodating. So the main sort of disappointment, or the main really complaint that shows up in the psychologist's office, is that even though this person, the covert narcissist, might feel that they're superior in a lot of ways, that they're accomplished in a lot of ways, that they're failing in certain senses of their relationships. They have complaints from their wife. They have complaints from co-workers. They have complaints from their children, their sons and daughters. Basically, that there's a communication breakdown. There's a certain amount of avoidance that takes place within the overall behavioral habits of a covert narcissist. And this can create really a deficit and a lack that can create severe detriment, because really, when you think about how important it is to have a positive mirroring in relationships, in other words, just a common hello, a common acknowledgement, a pat on the back, these are the sort of regular behaviors that healthy people engage in without censoring themselves, without stopping themselves, without feeling like they're giving too much of themselves away just by giving somebody a basic compliment. For example, those who are involved really with a covert narcissist for some time become so servile in nature. They carry so much of the weight of the relationship. They really become almost a martyrdom sort of situation. And when the communication breaks down, it's usually at a pretty severe point where, years of time have been lost, emotions have been hurt, people are, suffering in a lot of ways, more than emotionally. People aren't where they're at and they're supposed to be in their relationship or in their life. They're underemployed. They have kind of underdeveloped or undergrown in the relationship. They're extremely stunted, extremely really stifled in the relationship. And when we talk about really the ramifications, it can be quite severe. The covert narcissist is thought to really participate in a lot of withholding of this, because really underneath they really are very insecure and do not know really how to participate in everyday normal human interactions. It seems strange, but for some reason this person is feeling a great sense of inadequacy. Even though they might be accomplished in some ways, they just do not feel the confidence. Sometimes people can, think of them as introverted or shy. Yet the covert narcissist is a little bit different in that, the shy person, or the introverts, generally doesn't have an interest in people, and they don't really kind of feel overly inflated in terms of their ego. In other words, such as the narcissist, the main distinguishing feature between an introvert, a shy person, and a narcissist is that the narcissist, behind all of their sort of shy behaviors, is a person who really feels that they're quite superior to the people around them. So they really project this in sort of a very unspoken sort of judgment. And You know, even just not offering a hello, a good to see you, a smile, an acknowledgement. There's an overall condescending air that the covert narcissist will emit to the people in their environment. And it becomes very severe because this becomes a form of neglect. So neglect is a form of abuse. Anytime we're not, you know, meeting the needs of others outwardly or inwardly, you know, from their emotional standpoint, their psychological standpoint, it does become extremely abusive. I mean, it's almost like starving the soul of the other to keep them subservient, to make them understand that you are underneath me, you are not worthy, you are not, you know, of the type of material that I wish to acknowledge. So it's in this lack of acknowledgement that so much of the deficit, the hurt, and the abuse takes place. So if this is indeed, you know, the situation, you know, look at the ways that the narcissist has withheld, and realize that this deficit now, if you're experiencing this internal deficit that has been created, this void that has been created within by the covert narcissist, has to be filled up by yourself. One, you know, in exposing them, one does have to take responsibility and accountability now for their own emotional fullness and well-being. In fact, it is in that acknowledgement that kind of ignites the passion within that supply, within that victim, to kind of reemerge and heal, and oftentimes, you know, shed or become distant from that covert narcissist. So a couple things I would definitely recommend. You know, if this is occurring, you know, you have to realize that if you have been overly taking care of this narcissist, you need to withhold, you need to stop. You absolutely positively need to stop doing end all and everything for them, making their dinner, cleaning their house, driving them to appointments, giving them compliments, giving them accolades, telling them how wonderful they are. You know, just, you know, stop the sort of, you know, support that you're giving them, and instead begin to raise your own self-esteem. Realize that that is really what is important, and it's the lack of the covert narcissist, their ability to mirror that back to you, which has created so much of the pain and anguish, but that is now what you need to instill in yourself. And you don't want to confront the narcissist and say, you know what, you really failed me as a spouse. I mean, you can say that, but the narcissist is just going to be more and more intrigued because you're angry at them and you're giving them essentially more attention. So, you know, one thing I think I would definitely recommend is you need to pull out the source of supply that you're giving them. And instead, just do a 180, and you need to now begin to fill yourself up with the same sort of support, acknowledgement, and encouragement for yourself, your own interests, your own activities that you were instead giving to that narcissist, because you've been nourishment to them, you've been supply to them, you've been encouragement, you've been the fuel. And so now if you withhold the fuel, they're no longer going to get the chance to run on your supply. And yes, they did, you know, owe that to you in the relationship. If you're in a relationship with them, they absolutely positively owe that to you as a partner, as a fiancé, as a spouse, as a parent, as a friend. So, you know, knowing this to be the case, it really matters that you have that reciprocity, and that you don't just go into that total self-sacrifice, what we call the Mother Teresa syndrome, where you're forever the martyr and just taking care of the narcissist to the exclusion of yourself, because the covert narcissist would love that. They would love if you completely deny your own needs, for essentially your entire life. They will take everything you have for your entire life. If you can go ahead and put them first, and you know, and keep them up on top of the mound, on top of the hill, you know, in their superior position, which you essentially have allowed. When we think about it, if you continue to provide that support, that encouragement, you're creating that superior place for them. So, You need to stop creating that superior place for them. Stop idealizing them. Don't devalue them, and don't devalue yourself. Be neutral, let them go, and instead focus on your needs, your passions, and giving voice to really what hasn't been heard in a long time. And that will start to energize you moving forward, and you don't need the covert narcissist to participate in this whatsoever. In fact, you don't even need to advise them that you're moving on with your life. It is just an action you need to take, and you will begin to heal little by little, day by day, and slowly your wholeness will resume, and you'll realize how much the covert narcissist was taking from you all the while. Peace and harmony with you today. I hope these videos help. Please do share for those people in need, and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.